How did it do, the people? Peoples. Hope we're well. Hope you're doing all right. Just wait for it to hopefully fill up. Have you had a good bank holiday? Weather wasn't as brilliant in Manchester. Hello, guys. I've actually been decorating all weekend. This is a newly decorated room. Oh, I didn't take me a load of stuff. How we doing, guys? Hey, Shaza, General Purpose, John GB, Martin, how you doing? All the way from Essex. Nice one. Nice. Nice to know the signal is getting further than my back shed. Hi, guys. Hi, Rose. It's all right, Rose. Listen, you called the other day and I was unable to take your call, so ditto. You know, it's just one of them, isn't it? Life gets in the way, as ever. How you all doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying positive. Hope you're really staying positive. Just let it fill up a little bit more while we're waiting. I shall set my alarm for my standard 1 hour. We're off. We're off. So it's a lovely, you know what? The one positive thing I'm going to say, it's beautiful being sat in this living room, freshly decorated, with no TV on. Got a fish tank in the background there. But I can actually hear birds singing. It is beautiful. Nature. I'm not hearing chavs screeching cars up and down. I'm not hearing sirens, not yet. So I do feel somewhat calm surroundings, even though I'm still in the concrete jungle that probably most of us watching this. Hi, yes, J-Bo E15. Yes, mate, I'm all right, thank you. Hope you're all doing well. Did I get a decorated? Yeah, it was called me. I had no choice. The wife made me an offer I couldn't refuse, in a sense that my wife has had to endure, you can imagine, a lot over the past couple of years with me wandering off all over the country, with my thoughts being elsewhere, even when I'm sat in the same room with her, with me spending a lot of time on my computer rather than spending social time with my family. So, and not only that, she knows I don't do external decorating work other than my day job. I'm not one of them decorators where they do what they call foreigners. I haven't got time, and I just don't really want to do that. So the times that I do it tend to be for really good friends that really need help, but they know I can do the job. So I'll do it as a favour more than actually to make money. So my wife has literally watched me do these jobs for good friends of mine and turn their what was decrepit little houses, because they were for whatever gone. They've just moved in, and I've turned them into palaces with immaculate decor. And meanwhile, she's sat in a living room with no word of a lie, with mayonnaise stains on the ceiling. And it was mayonnaise. It was mayonnaise. I dropped a bottle about 3 years ago, and the mayonnaise just splattered everywhere. There was some of it on the wall, some of it up there. So she used to give me grief, and it got to a head where she threatened to do it herself. And I said, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to do it. So I ended up having to give up all my weekend, and I turned it round in a whole weekend, and I'm absolutely buzzing, even though I didn't get to see anything. It was literally long days and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so yeah, it's a long-winded way of saying I had to put something back into the red pill Phil household, you know what I mean? I had to give something back to the family. So anyway, enough of that. The reason why I wanted to do a stream was, you know what? I like you guys. I'm fine, Sarah, fine. you know what? Aren't we all feeling like, what the hell? You know, and what I mean to say is that probably the best word to use is exacerbated. Do you get the feeling that you just really not so much had enough, even though we've had enough, but the fact that everything is going on whilst the normal world just carry on living their life? So there's the stories that as a YouTuber that I could be sat and doing. There's millions of different stories. I literally block a lot of it out now. I don't really get involved with searching on the web for all things that YouTube are talking about, so I can. I don't. I literally do my own thing. But even that's hard work because you kind of got to create a bit of content. But at the moment, I'm actually thinking, are people at the point where you've had enough? You've seen so many different sections being bent right in front of you, and it's like, what do you do? So I personally was, you know me, I used to enjoy doing my streams. I used to always love interviewing, talking about whatever subject. Couldn't wait to get on there. I didn't abuse it, but I loved it, you know, for certain subjects. It was key, and it's getting the message out just like now, straight away. But it got me to the point where it was like, I don't even want to do a stream. I don't feel as if I've got that capability anymore to keep trying to articulate what is going on, because it's becoming so abundantly clear that it's so stacked against you as an individual. Never mind you as a YouTuber or anyone who's trying to do the fight in whatever forum they're using. And does it, I'm sure you've all had it, where it just gets to the point where do you get overwhelmed? Do you get to the point where you think, are you actually achieving anything? Are you doing anything? You know? Just hurry up and forget Brexit. Forget Brexit. Well, fucking hell. Oh God. See what I mean? This is one of many problems. And even though I did kind of put myself down there for being semi-informed when I started doing all this, when you do, and when you end up researching, when you end up entering that world, when you end up seeing different characters, when you end up seeing the press, because once you see it from the inside, you see how the press are generally talking about what you're representative of on the outside, and you just think, what the... You just don't know whether you're actually doing anything. You don't know whether you're making matters worse or what. So there's a couple of stories that I actually thought, you know what, I've got to say something. And tonight was actually going to be talking about something else, but I'm not going to. If it pops up later because I've got time, that's fine. But more importantly was Richard Farnell, and the reason why it became more important because I've literally had my blinkers on and I've been getting on with my other stuff. I happened to just peruse on my Facebook before, and Billy had done a stream. Now, everyone knows Billy Howarth, PAG UK. He's the man. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Bloody alerts going off everywhere. I should have took my alerts off. I do apologise. Very unprofessional. So Billy was doing a stream at the back of the PAG HQ, and he was talking about Richard Farnell now won't be pursued for perjury, really. Now, what that means, Richard Farnell, between 1986 and 1992, was the leader of Rochdale Council. Now, I think last year he appeared at the ICSA inquiry, and they've basically put him up for perjury for trying to deny that he had no knowledge whatsoever of what went on at Knoll View. So I do believe, looking at an article, that one of the solicitors have then one of the solicitors that was representing the Knoll View survivors has reported him to the police on perjury. Now, from what this article's saying, the police have gone through hundreds of thousands of pages of articles, and there's going to be no case to answer. Now, I remember at the time that what was he called? Alan Brett. Alan Brett wanted to distance himself at the time. Just after the inquiry, Richard Farnell quit, if I do remember rightly. People of Rochdale may be able to put me correct there, but I'm sure that's what happened. So the shift moved away from Farnell. You better not talk about Farnell. You better not kind of be on the same side as him, or don't appear to be on that side because, oh look, he's got murkiness. And I do believe Alan Brett come out and said not scathing things, but one or two things in the press, totally distancing himself from it. So it comes now to, apparently, over the past couple of days, Richard Farnell has been informed by the police that there's going to be no further looking into the perjury allegations. So now it's shifted between Alan Brett, who had politically manoeuvred himself away from anything Farnell because it brought a bad taste to Rochdale. So Farnell quit. Everyone had to distance themselves, to now literally Farnell praising him, praising the forces for doing their due diligence in looking at this, and cannot wait to reinstate Richard Farnell in what, I don't know what capacity, but reinstate him back. I do believe that he's actually representing at least a ward in Rochdale, if not more than one at this moment in time. So I was looking at Billy before on this stream, and it was a random thing. I don't normally, you know me guys, you're lucky if I even reply to comments. I just don't. I'm not a social media head, and I just kind of leave it for you guys to comment, and I will peruse, and if there's something really vital, I will try and get back to you. But a lot of comments do slip under the net, so I very rarely have any kind of activity, digital footprint. So I was looking, and I could not believe how mad Billy was. Billy was fuming. I've never seen him swear so much on a live stream. I've never seen him attack so much. You're right, War Kettle from Cyprus, you lucky dog. What you like, mate? You didn't have to tell me that. How's the weather? Hope it's doing good. Hope it's really nice. Hope you sat on a beach, chilling, having a barbecue. So, I've never seen Billy so animated. He was fuming, and he's vowed to really up the ante now in terms of the level of attack. Now, I can understand, you could totally understand why the police could have let Rochdale down, why the council have almost certainly let Rochdale down. The police, they're looking at documentation. They've looked at all this documentation. Now, is this documentation eligible to be made public so people, independent people, can ascertain whether that is true, whether there was any acknowledgement? Because what Richard Farnell is now saying is that with all these hundreds of thousands of documents that have been given to the police, there's none of it that refers to the care officers that was in charge of Knoll View alerting Richard Farnell that shit would go on at Knoll View. So he's basically gone, well, there's nothing in them documents. Now, that might be the case, I don't know. But that still doesn't mean to say you don't know, really. Considering that Rochdale is a very small town, very small in comparison to Manchester, in comparison to a lot of cities and towns up and down. The population's small, it's quite dense, there's quite because it's more elevated than Manchester, it's more in the mountains, as it were, and the hills. So you've got a bit more sparse populated areas, but it's like anywhere else. So to suggest that the leader of the council did not know at that time when he had a 6-year reign, and he must have known. He must have known. Evening Zambuca. Well, Rose, thank you, Rose. Rose has just said there, Rose, honestly, she's a brilliant lady. And Rose, I do believe, are you from Shaw originally, or was it Rochdale? But Rose can testify as to what's gone on in her personal life. And yeah, and as to the evidence that Rose can provide, I mean, she's got some major research. I couldn't tell you how long Rose has been looking into all this. I know, Great Brit. Hi, Great Brit. Sorry, mate. Just dragged you in the hot seat there. Shaw, yes. Now, Shaw is close to Oldham. And Shaw, Oldham, Rochdale, Bolton, they're all on the outskirts, what we would class as Greater Manchester, but they're all kind of a hop, skip and a jump between each other. So the problems, the social issues that have gone on in Shaw, almost certainly have gone on in Oldham, almost certainly gone on in Ashton, almost certainly have gone on in Rochdale. They're all one and the same, you know. I mean, I tend to highlight Rochdale because I know Billy well and I've got to know him, and the chip fell in Rochdale when I went with DFLA. You know, if the DFLA would have happened to have gone to Ashton that day and maybe highlighted certain things in Ashton, that might have switched the light on for me in terms of what is going on in Ashton, and then boom, I might have been covering that. So if it wasn't for Linda Phillips really changed my way of thinking in terms of my YouTube, what I was actually going to marches for, what is good and bad between it all. Do you want to just make it out as if you're just going, that's the bad over there and everyone over there? No, good and bad on everyone's side. So, hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it. So, yeah, when I'm going back to Richard Farnell, I think of, it, not only must he have known, you've got Linda Phillips, a lovely, lovely lady that is so strong-willed, so adamant, and she is as tough as nails and as sharp as tack. So there's no way that lady is going to let this lie. But then I think, if anyone doesn't know Linda Phillips, her son was physically abused at Knollview School. She's got the evidence to prove it. She's shown me the evidence countless times. There's one piece of evidence which is so damning, which was the minutes of a meeting where they were discussing what was going on at the toilets, which was a public toilet situated roughly where the tram station is now. And I think it was across the road from the social services. And they were talking about this toilet block, that they knew exactly that it was of the age of the boys that were going in and how vulnerable they are, and as opposed to the perpetrators who were paying them, who was doing the crimes, so, you know, the sexual exploitation, whatever, raping in some cases, I guess. And the minutes of the meeting had it written in ballpoint, keep quiet. So the jib was in way back then. I mean, I couldn't tell you what year that was that Linda got them minutes. Linda has got documents that even the police have tried to come and get off her. And she's made so many different copies of different files now that they can't even do it, because she's made so many generic copies that I've got a copy. I should have had them here. I've got a copy in there. She gave me a copy. The only piece I'm missing is that one sheet of paper that said keep quiet, but now I've got it on a screenshot, so I have technically got it digitally. But this is how fucked up it is. When you know that there's a cover-up ensuing, so if you know that there's a cover-up ensuing, but yet what the leader for 6 years, Richard Farnell, is trying to state that he had no knowledge of not only any abuse, but any cover-up, that is clearly insulting the intelligence of people of Rochdale and people on a worldwide level. You know what I mean? Worldwide level. It just shows you from top to bottom that we're fucked. You've got the monarchy that are up to all kinds, that are doing all kinds. No conspiracy, we all know it. You can sing Rule Britannia if you want it, but I prefer not to. Yeah? Don't wish any malice on him. I just wish they would gain a conscience and a bit of morality. So you've got the monarchy right at the top. You've got the politicians and all the elites in between. And then you've got right at the bottom, the people with authority still over us, the police system and the council workers that are doing what they're doing. And as a woke up individual, you get to see it on a blatant level. And you wonder why people are doing streams when Billy has gone tirelessly out of his way to get PAG up and running, to turn the dream of having his own premises into a reality, knowing that he didn't have any acknowledgement by the council. They said all the certain right keywords at a certain meeting in regards to posthumously removing Cyril Smith's titles, but it didn't go anywhere. There were certain promises made by key members. There were certain allegations made that they all knew. So you know this. We've shown it. Billy's shown it for frigging years. Danny and the rest of the boys always talk about it. The systematic abuse and the systematic cover-up. And yet, it's happened again right in front of our eyes. Because I can't say fully for sure that Richard Farnell is 100% guilty. What I'm saying on sheer common sense and logic, that he must have known. Otherwise, he was not doing his duty as a leader of the Rochdale Council if something of such magnitude was going on his watch. Full stop. So either way, if you didn't know, then you are negligent. So you did know and you've allowed it to happen, you should apologise. You didn't know, you were negligent because you should have known and you should have been more protected over the people. But you can see that the clear scheme that seemed to have gone on there was what was systemic in them days. You had vulnerable kids, you had schools that were geared for troublesome kids. So not only will troublesome kids not be listened to, but troublesome kids can now be punished away from the glaring eye. You know, you can see that. You can see that. My school was pretty brutal at times, and my comprehensive was just a run-of-the-mill comprehensive. But we had the days of the cane, we had the days of the leather strap, we had the days of the slipper. So you can imagine a school that was known for troubled kids, what was going on? There must have been ritual abuse going on. Everyone knew in Rochdale. But same again, Rose, which you will agree, there must have been different troubled schools up and down the country that must have been going through the same thing. The care system again, homes again, the people off the beaten track, as it were. So it's only open to neglect, it's only open to people abusing it, and then when it's discovered, it's well open for it to be covered up, because we can't expose the cracks that the system is actually fucked. And what I was starting with, what the stream, how I started by saying that I feel exacerbated. I feel that the cracks within the system are so fractured in so many different directions. I'm a painter and decorator, and if the wall was the system, I'd have to say the wall has to be knocked down and re-skimmed, because I have not got enough filler and expertise to fill that wall sufficiently. And that's the way I feel. Because I'm just learning more and more how the system lets you down there, how the system lets you down there. It's freaking terrible, isn't it? So, that. Rochdale Online have done an article in regards to it. And it's police take no further action against former council leader over perjury allegations. It's got police investigating allegations former Rochdale council leader Richard Farnell committed perjury when he appeared at the independent inquiry into child sex abuse known as ICSA, say there is insufficient evidence to take any criminal action against him. Insufficient evidence. Never mind the morality, you know. So, is there any form of cover up there? I have no idea, but it just does not feel right. It does not taste right, and it looks terrible that you're expecting people to just forget about it and brush it under the carpet. It is, mate. It is an embarrassment, but you know what? I'm sure, as much as I want to beat this country up for the woes, we do know that every country in the world is systematically controlling the populations within it. And we do know that. And we do know that there's almost ritualized abuse going from all levels, from all different types of people, that's being covered up, being actually perpetrated. There's kind of economic wealth being stripped from governments of all kinds of nationalities against their said population. So as much as I beat this country up, they're fucking all at it. And it's that realisation. So there's trafficking that no doubt will be going on here. There's trafficking that will be going on in other countries that will have some kind of systematic link. There'll be paedophilia that will be going on in this country, but yet that will have a link in other various countries. So it's the system in general in which that we all have to comply to, that these fuckers are not on a blatant level, that you just know now that, imagine the boys club, the golf club, you know, where they all have a drink afterwards. He'll be welcome back in now. I mean, I'm sure he was welcome in before. There was rumours he ran off to Spain for a bit on the taxpayers' money, I do believe, the allegation. But you know that the way they're all talking is that they will just be patting him on the back. They're fully appreciative of the work that the police have done, and because the police have said there's no case to answer, then that is good enough for me. Never mind the morality, never mind the fact that you got away with it, but you know, and I know that you know, that you done it, you knew what was going on, and you wasn't the only one that knew it was going on, but yet you're all staying quiet. So that's all that's really on display here. So it says, the first report from the inquiry found Councillor Farnell had lied under oath when giving evidence about the town's notorious Knowlview School, where children were abused over a period spanning more than 25 years. The document branded Councillor Farnell, who was always strongly denied he misled the inquiry, as shameful for refusing to take responsibility for the abuse that happened under his watch when he was leader of the council between 1986 and 1982. So you bank the rights either way. You're either stupid because you watched all this go on and you didn't know about it, or you did know about it and you're keeping your mouth sealed. So there's no good position to be in. But yet they're just wheeling back in. He's a positive member of the council. You know what I mean? And the paper added that he defies belief he was unaware of the events involving the school. Of course it fucking defies belief. Shizzle, how can he say all that was the testimony, the different people? You've had Martin Deegan, who's come out screaming from the frigging rafters. You've had Linda Phillips coming out screaming from the rafters. They've all got documentation that spans right back, official letter-headed documentation that shows that they knew stuff that had gone on. And they're not the only one. You've got your Roses and everyone else. But yeah, no, I didn't know nothing, governor. Didn't know nothing. So it's just hard, isn't it? Because what makes this difficult now is that this geezer will be wheeled out and he'll go back on the campaign again. You know, eager to get votes. And people are going to buy it. People will soon forget about this, or people have no knowledge because they're not politically literate. I'm not that politically savvy, but I know a stinking dead rat when I see one. You know what I mean? I know someone that is ripping the system. I know someone who is taking from the system and not really giving back. I know someone who's turning a blind eye against a hell of a lot in the population. Because what I do find when I go to Rochdale, Billy and I only have to walk down the high street for more than 5 minutes. Billy will strike into conversation with random homeless people. Within 5 minutes of that, they're now offsetting the abuse that they've had over the years that has stemmed from some kind of authority or something within Rochdale area. So Billy is kind of collecting a mental dossier as he's walking and he's just grabbing a conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is, mate. Shocking. Let's all forget about it. Politically, it's no problem. I mean, the other matter, which I wish I had more proof, but the other matter to do with him, he's got a relation called Julian Farnell. And people might not know this, but I do believe Julian Farnell was up for local election just recently. Now, I've no idea why that happened, because several weeks ago, I knew about a certain thing that Julian Farnell was involved in terms of what you would now class as the trendy comment of malicious communications. So, tell you what, Julian, come and put your foot through this door, like you threatened to do with someone else who was posted about your relation, Richard Farnell, which was a legitimate post critiquing about the perjury in which he was going to be allegation against him. So next thing you know, this person had got a verbal threat via a text that Julian is going to send the boys round to this geezer's house and he's going to kick the door down. Yeah? That's Julian. Plastic gangster. That's all he is. And I didn't say nothing. Didn't say nothing. And then the one thing that got me go the other week, looking through Facebook again, Billy as ever. Billy doesn't stop. Billy keeps posting shit, keeps saying how he feels. So you can literally get right up to date with Billy because he's constantly keeping you informed. He posts like a voting poster. Julian Farnell, vote Labour. I'm like, you fucking what? It's like, do people not know? So I actually text Billy, well, not through the phone, but through Facebook. Mate, just send me that text, because I know that text exists, because he's shown it me one day. It was against a Rochdale citizen that had put a legitimate critique post up in regards to Richard Farnell. So he'd come up, threatened that if he didn't take the post down, that he would send the boys round and kick his door in. Plastic gangster. And you know why I call him a plastic gangster? Because you know he'll get away with it in a small populated area like Rochdale, yeah? Because that's how dickheads like that roll. They go in their own little area, they think they're the king of that area, and they think they can treat whoever they want in that area how they want. Now, you take the likes of Julian out of that area, put him into Longside, put him into Moss Side, put him into Toxteth in Liverpool. Yeah? There's plenty of areas up and down that are pretty badass places. Let him threaten any individual in that said area to kick down the door and send the boys round. And let's see what happens to Mr. Vote fucking Labour. You know what I mean? He's full of shit. He's a plastic gangster. I've met people like that all my life. I've dealt with bigger guys than that. You know what I mean? He's a muppet. The big gangsters in this world are the most gentlemanly people because they don't have to walk around like this because they know who they are. They don't have to start throwing it about. And I don't even agree with that lifestyle, but you know what I'm saying? He's just no respect, no class, and I'm just going to use my political sway just to shut you up. Seriously? Seriously? So this is the Farnells. Come and sue me. Got a leg to stand on, mate. Common sense. So I get why Billy was absolutely fuming. I get why Linda is now probably hitting the roof. I get why the rest of all putting their arms around each other and they're covering for each other. And they're making sure no one spills the beans about any other individual. Because if you do that, it'll blow the door wide open. Which then will lead back to Cyril Smith, which then will lead back to probably MI5, which then will lead back to, oh, Jesus, what door is it going to end up at? And you just know it. You just know it. They all knew. He's what? Like he don't know nothing. Got Janae leaving voice messages. Yeah, they all knew, mate. And, you know, that's what I mean. Number 10. Jesus. Does it end there? You know. Cheers, Daniel. You know what? It's a top finish. It's a top finish. I rubbed it down and I filled it up good. Undercoated all the woodwork. I always recommend people undercoat the woodwork. There's too many times when I see go around to people's houses and it's gloss on gloss. That is wrong. It is wrong. If I was a painter and decorator police, I would arrest you for that. It is an arrestable offence. yeah, Great Brits telling Janae to shut up. Janae's having it on the voice messages. Don't know. She's probably telling me, get out of the house. Julian Farnell's coming round. So, yeah, where do you go? Where do you go? And I'm not even dipping my head right into this murky shit because we're all feeling it, aren't we? And you know what I'm craving for? I'm craving for that shining light. I had a little glimmer of it a few weeks ago when I went to a case with Billy. And it was a guy who was inciting sexual acts against young girls from Rochdale. I think he was Muslim. He was certainly, I'm not going to say Asian because that there's too big an area to just call him Asian. But it's irrelevant who he was. His bag was fucking bad. What he'd done. If it was a white guy stood there, they'd say the same thing. If it was a black guy stood there, they'd say exactly the same thing. Irrespective of colour. It was fucking nasty. And you knew better. And you've got kids. You dirty man. You know what I mean? So, when the lady judge seen the evidence and literally went in favour of the lady and put him down. That was something. Billy wasn't totally satisfied. It doesn't totally satisfy the whole system, but it just gives you a little bit of glimmer that there's people within certain corridors of power that actually give a shit and can actually do things. Because the one thing I've noticed now, whether it be Brexit, whether it be sexual abuse, whether it be the food, whatever it is, the cancer, the doctors, the last uploads that I had, everything. There's just so many failings and letdowns, and it never goes anywhere. It's like, all right, let's just forget about that. You know what I mean? And it's hard to deal with. It's hard to still keep going. I don't know how you guys find it, but I find it quite weird at times to try and function in a room full of people that are normal people, who are talking about normal shit, who haven't got a care in the world ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I feel like I've got the troubles of the world on my head. And I want to talk about it, but I know it's going on deaf ears. I know it'll drop the conversation like a brick. I know, Great Brick. Yeah, I know she's top. And you know that within a few minutes, they'll want to talk about something else or just start laughing. And you think, dude, the country's fucking burning. Are you not bothered? Are you not bothered? And it's that realization that, you know what? You could do this stream now. What's it going to change? What's it going to change? There was one clip that I put in a video. It was from a 1980s film called Network. And it was a lovely scene where he sat at a TV studio at a desk. And he's filming this clip where he's trying to get people. He said, what's it going to take? We know the system's bad. We know that happens. We know this happens. We know, well, I've had enough. You know, I want you to get up. I want you to show, you know. And it was an absolutely such a poignant clip. And that's what I want to see. I feel it. That's why I've opened up the YouTube. Because that was me. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I don't see it around. I don't see people being mad as hell and not wanting to take it anymore. I see people being very complicit, very ignorant, or just very allowing of it, which is even worse to deal with. When I've got people that are, my boss come and told, I was having a chat over my YouTube and that, and he has no problem. He's even, as you know, he's donated paint to Pag. He knew all about it and he's quite happy. He says I'm fucking nuts for doing this, but he's a man that don't want to change the world. Not so much that he don't need changing. He knows it's just as corrupt as I say. He knows he doesn't probably know a lot because he don't want to scratch into it. He's quite happy living with the system the way it is. Not to rock the boat because he feels as an individual he can't change anything. So why should I put myself through that? I should just live my life and look after me and mine, which is very noble. But then I looked at him as if to say, well, if no one's going to do it, we're fucked, aren't we? And he kind of looked at me and looked down because there's not a lot he can say. And the other point as well is that, well, if you've got that, then what legacy are you leaving for your children? You're leaving a fucked system that's getting even more fucked. And by you not saying anything, you not doing anything, in a way, are you not complicit? Because you can openly see the system is fucked. And if you're not going to tell your children, if you're not going to alert your children to the safeties, then that makes you just as complicit as, I won't say the abusers, because that's a horrible thing to say, but you know what I'm trying to say, is that some people, they know that the food they're eating is killing them. They know that this, but they know they'll let the kid from 2 years of age drink a can of Coke. I've seen it in a buggy. But yet, you can stand there and tell them that that can attribute to diabetes as well as all other kinds of shit later on down the line. They don't give a fuck. And it's like, what? What? Yeah, I'm going to shut up for a bit. I'm going to watch some comments and breeze through. Have a peruse of the comments. See if I get any inspiration. Because honestly, I'm like, it's not that I can't take it. It's that, what do you fucking do? You know what I mean? Yeah, good, Lisa, good. And you know what? That is the horrible thing, in it, when you speak to your children, because the last thing you want to do, you don't want to ruin their innocence. I hated it. I hated that period where I didn't want them to ever eat a McDonald's again, and I didn't want to ever to drink tap water again, and they've got to take iodine, and I didn't want to have to tell them that vitamin C is absolutely brilliant, vitamin D, the sun, is absolutely brilliant, all the synthetic stuff that they're now starting to replace the natural organic vitamins with It's synthetic. So you don't know generations down the line what that synthetic will do in your system. Organic, you can't beat it. It's been tried and tested for thousands of years. We know it. But yet they're steering you away from it. There's a reason. They want to keep you on a thing. But you try and say that while you're eating a burger. You know, you don't want to kill it. You don't want to kill their vibe. If they're getting into a certain type of music, you don't want to tell them it's manipulated. You don't want to tell them it's all tits and ass. You don't want to tell them it's sexually exploited, and you know what I mean? Because you know you're taking them down and you know you're ruining their moment. And it's like, what? But it's the truth. And I feel like an awful dad in here, like saying that's wrong and that's wrong. But honestly, that's the way I feel. I feel like there's very little things. The only good thing is the interaction of people that have got a brain in this world. I don't give a fuck what demographic they are. That is the only good thing in this world. So cheers to the people on this freaking channel that have got a brain. You can actually converse and talk on different levels. The royal family never get cancer. You probably never get a lot because they'll have all the best treatment. They'll be whisked off to the best medical facilities. You know, and what do we get? Yeah, you get a fucking morphine on a driver. Yeah, if anyone's seen the last upload, you wouldn't ever see that in the royal family, would you? Royal family member put on diamorphine. It's fucking wrong. And it's like, at what point are we going to go, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? Thank you, Lisa. You know what? We're all there. We're all there. I'm not anything special. I'm just someone who... I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. And I'm sick of the complicity around. You know what I mean? Because you look at it, you look over the years. For whatever effect I've done, it's fuck all, right? Let's have it right. There's been many people over the decades that have spoke openly in regards to all types of issues regarding the human race and the treatment of it. Over the decades, so many public figures that have been viewed millions upon millions of times. Has it changed anything? Has it got them people to get out the window, open the window and shout, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? It hasn't changed a fucking thing. You'll get people that will sit and watch. What was that freaking documentary? Was it Mega Size Me? In regards to the McDonald's? Thank you, Shane. We all get it. We all get it. Cheers, Lisa. But Super Size Me. That was it. Super Size Me. Thank you, Red Eye Jedi 420 UK. Fucking hell. That's a good one. So yeah, you know, how can you ever go in a McDonald's and enjoy it again? How can you? Common sense should tell you, leave that shit alone. Now, even I've succumbed to it over the years. I don't want to. Sometimes it's a necessity. Sometimes you've got to do it. McDonald's for 40 days. Remember, he done that. He done a diet for, if anyone doesn't know, Super Size Me, he's an American geezer, done a diet. He got dietary advice beforehand. He let his doctors know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to eat nothing but McDonald's for 40 days. But then, right, he's going to not say anything, but when he goes up to the counter, if they offer him a re-up, he will take it. That is the bargain. He ended up with fucking drinks that big. They were like buckets. Burgers, like, literally. And then he had, like, periodic tests every now and then, every few days or whatever, every week. And the doctor's saying, mate, you got to get off this diet. It's taking you down. And I'm not sure whether he actually fulfilled the actual 40 days or he forcefully removed himself from it. But it was like, what? You can't. So people know that. That is documented evidence. McDonald's done their utmost to remove that. Now, McDonald's knew that there was true basis to what they were saying, but yet they want to remove that from circulation. So that in itself is a cover-up. They're quite happy to sell millions of burgers, billions of burgers in every fucking country in the world, but they don't want you to know that if you eat it for 40 days, you're going to need a gurney or a fucking, whatever they call them, stretcher. You're going to need an IV drip. Yes, mutual respect, always, always. And you know what? There is some benefit to it. Of course it is. I'm not low. He just gets to the point. We all have him. And you know what? I've got the facility to have a whinge about it. You guys might not. You know, you might just have the facility just to partake in the odd comment section. You guys might not. You might feel a quiet voice. You might feel within the confines of where you live, the area where you live. You haven't got that voice. So you kind of... And that's what I can feel. I can feel that exacerbation that with everything going on, you feel fucking trapped. It's like, wow. So that's when people say, I've had enough. I can understand that. I can understand it. It's bull. It's how you psychologically manipulate your way through that. Because the one thing I do know, the system is, people might disagree. The system is geared on putting people at such a low frequency. They want to create so much anxiety and chaos. Now that might sound, oh, that's a broad sweeping statement, Phil. And to a degree it might be, because there are sparks of inspiration, there are sparks of beauty in the world. So I'm not negating that. I'm not saying the world is altogether a terrible place. You've only got to wake up in the middle of the mountains in the morning to appreciate how beautiful the world is. The thing that complicates it is the people, unfortunately, innit? You know what I mean? So, I don't frigging know. Just going on and on and on. You just feel it. You just feel it. Brexit chaos, low frequency chaos. You know, with all the stories going on in the world that you know that has been misled, that you know the narrative has been spun, you know that the political gain they can get from that, you know the vilification they can hand out now they've got the justification of that, you know the double standards, you know the hypocrisy of it, and you got to sit there and take it. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It is so hard to deal with. You know what I've seen, right? We've got 8 minutes, right? I'm going to talk about something else. So, one last thing. The original reason why I was going to do this stream, really, because I felt it was quite apt. Certain BBC One DJs have played a track. The track was by Frenzo and Chabian Boys, and it's grime music. I don't know whether you've heard it, and I don't know what the shit's called, but this, I'm going to need more than 8 minutes to talk about this. Yeah, people are afraid to speak, and people have got to take the way it is. People have got to observe the Overton window changing, the perception being bent, but you can't have a voice about it. You've got to sit and watch it unfold. But yet by your perception, the perception being bent, you can see socially how it's affecting the population, which is having a knock-on effect with you and everything about you and the kids that you bring up. Yeah, going back, right, let me talk about this song, if I can. Frenzo, right? He was, let's have it right, it's what you would class as grime, which is total hip-hop kind of gangster. I don't listen to it, don't like it, it's not my kind of vibe. I've done a video about this not so long back. I've done a couple of videos, one about hip hop and one talking about the kind of chav that listen to the music and they think they're big and they're bad, and when they actually look at themselves, they realise that it's empty. So this guy's played into that hip hop kind of culture, but it's kind of a Pakistani slant on it, you know, Pakistani gangs, and he's within this song. And he's talking about white girls in a derogatory fashion. Literally, white girls don't mean nothing. He's talking about snorting cocaine off keys on a regular basis. He's in the video, he's got white girls with suspenders, lingerie, just walking up and down. I mean, why the white girl would actually want to appear in that video? Same again, complicity. I don't know what the fuck. Does she want to be a star that much that she's now going to appear in a video that is denigrating her own race? Fucking crazy logic. So this video got, well, the record got aired on BBC Asia, I think, BBC One Asia or something like that, by 2 Asian DJs. I've looked up a little bit of what they do. You know, it's not for me to say, it's not my kind of vibe. I won't buy any of the stuff that they do. But this guy, bang out of order. I mean, when he's talking about the celebrating grooming of women, like he's a groomer himself, like he's a pimp. Whether it's bravado or whether it's real life, hip-hop does do that. It should be talking about real social issues. So if that is a real issue, it shouldn't be celebrated. Even if he is a groomer, he shouldn't be talking about it like, you know, I spend money like it don't mean nothing. This is the symbol that means I've got that much money, I can just flick it out my hand like it's a fucking pack of cards. I'm fucking, you know, David Blaine, like I'm going to do a magic trick. It's like, what, really? Is that your reality? Have you really got that money? Because I bet your arse you go back to a council estate at night. I bet you do. So don't be giving me that big I am with rented Porsche cars in the background. That the minute the video stops shooting, the fucking car hire firm picks them up, puts them on a truck and takes them back. So you're creating a veil that you're big and bad. You're creating a veil that I a groomer and you know what? I'm going to get back at the white race. So I don't get that, because not only have you sold yourself short, you've sold the people that were prepared to kind of be open with you in this country, if you're going to look at it that way. And you're now pissing all over them in reality. Not only that, your own community, the Pakistani community, have got to deal with the backlash of you being so irresponsible and talking like you're the big I am, when in fact, you're nothing but a pussy, a dickhead, an arsewipe, a knobhead. Do you want me to knock it down any other way? I'm a council estate man, so I'm just going to tell you as it is. You know what I mean? To make a video like that. Now, what I will say is that grime is like that. Grime is like that. I've not heard too much of it, but I know exactly where they come from. I know exactly where they stay. It's the degradation of people per se that you hear through hip-hop music, through the toxic hip-hop music that is being pushed. Remember what I was talking about lowering your frequency? So the system knows that if you was to get positive lyrics, okay, let's imagine this. You had a tune that was nothing but 100% positive, that was put on every radio station and beamed out to you day in, day out, or hour in, hour out, day in, day out, month in, month out. You get where I'm going with it. You get that within 10 years, whatever, as a social experiment, it goes bang to rights that you're gonna now have a society that will be more chilled. They will be less aggressive with one another. They will be less confrontational with one another. They will work with one another. They will see each other as one. But no, we have this system, whether it be films, whether it be the music. Now, I can't blame all of hip-hop music, because hip-hop music, there are many good hip-hop artists that are inspirational. that are very conscious within their lyrics and very motivational with their words. They're very thought-provoking, they're very historical, they're very accurate, you can get a lot of facts, but at the same time, they're not being pushed. They're like, nah. It's almost like the system goes, no, we don't want people to wake up. We want people to be of the lowest nomination. So you know what? It'd be a good idea to have a taxpayers TV media company, okay, where it's predominantly white, where we now set up an Asian sector. Not to say that that's a problem, because I know they do it for black people, they do it for all, and so they should, I guess. We're all one, but I've got no objection with that. But to make it worse, the ultimate is to then put on a tune that is degrading that white society that is paying for that fucking station, that is paid for their forefathers to be in the country, to give them the right to be on that microphone spitting that shit in such a nasty way. I'm sorry, but I've been a DJ for 30 plus years, yeah? I know what hip-hop's all about. I know what the worst element of hip-hop's all about. I know what it can turn society into. I've seen the proof, and I've shown it on videos, that there was a plan. The CIA wanted to make hip-hop as toxic as possible. So this toxicity is only a tool in which the way they use to lower the frequency of people. Keep pumping out low frequency shit. Can't stop it. Keep pumping out films of such a low energy. Keep pumping out adverts what just tell you to do things, don't ask you to stretch and broaden your horizons, broaden your mind. No, this TV is not here for that. This TV, this chat, this song is here to pump information into you. You're not there to think. I don't want you to come up with a conclusion. I just want you to agree with me. Sorry. Fucking sorry. My alarm's gone anyway. It is, Lisa, you bang on. And the more I see it, the more I know it, the more I appreciate people like you. It's not just the BBC Great Brit, but it's the system in general. Sky, ITV, CNN, all of them. They're all doing it. I wouldn't even say a worldwide conspiracy, but they know the power of that medium. They know that they can pump any channel. If they pump positivity, they're going to make a society that is positive, that love one another. But they don't do that. They go out the way to pump it with shit, aggressive, violent. No one should, promote not caring about each other. Promote snorting coke. Promote snorting fucking whatever. I've had me white bitch has had 100 guys, and she's on her back and she's saying, I want more. And it's like they want to pump you with so much low frequency that they know the outcome. They know the ultimate outcome. There's going to be some form of war. How many times? Jon Snow, Monroe Bergdorf, yeah? All these comments that have been so divisive, but yet, oops, we let it slip on air. Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think that was done by accident? Or do you think the system's going, fuck 'em? Because we know we can't get the riot going, but we can put enough incendiary shit out that will wind them up to get them feeling that they're battling against one another. They call it divide and conquer. They're not just doing it through press, they're doing it through music videos, they're doing it through your school, through your kids, they're doing it through everything. I'm sorry, freaking off. So, I don't know whether that was useful for you. I started off on one thing and ended up all round. I'm on a canoe, me, when I do my streams, and I'm like canoeing round the freaking continent. Yeah, real hip hop. And someone said about logos, you know, if that's what you were referring to, symbology, you know, it's a manipulation, isn't it? It's a perception manipulation. From the moment a TV advert is there, it's there to convince you need something you don't want. That's all it's there for. So for that very reason, it's kind of unlawful. Whatever it is. Why are you showing me a £60,000 car when I ain't got a pot to piss in, and all you're doing is sending me on a low frequency because I'm now looking at 60 grand cars with geezers with his arm out fucking buzzing off life? That puts me on a low, that puts him on a high, and we're both like that. No, you don't need to set up the tables like that where you have winners and losers. Now, I'm not talking about socialism. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an evenness where they're not trying to perpetually promote to you where the best thing in life is for you to aspire to this, for you to have that. And if you haven't got that, you mean absolutely jack shit on the social scale. You know what I mean? Look at a homeless geezer. They're worth absolutely fuck all on the social level. Why? His brain is just as good as the elite motherfuckers that are ruling us. But yet, because he's got a sleeping bag and a dog on a rope, nah, it means nothing. Because the system, the way it's been built that he means nothing because what he's wearing, what he's about, what his economic status is, what his abode is, it's nothing. So on that logic, someone who lives in a palace, someone who, you know, travels round in a gold carriage, they mean everything. Socially, they're the highest order. Socially, on an authoritative level, they're above us and they know it all. We know that's bullshit. We know the corruption is just as bad with them as it is with the lowest nomination of person. And I'm done. I'm officially done. I'm officially done because I'm kind of winding myself up here. I know, honestly, even watching a bus, Cat, when I see an advert on a bus and I think of the manipulation within the advert, how it's dragging people in, it's dragging my own kids in, people get, you know, people queue up fucking 3 a.m. to watch a bullshit film, it's all about bullshit, that's probably inaccurate anyway, you know what I mean? Do you want to get outraged and do a film over slavery, but yet not talk about slavery within other fucking demographics? Now, I'm not saying that story is unimportant, but talk about other demographics. So, you know, but no, the narrative is that it's only white and black. They're the only people that done slavery, not the fucking Arabs, you know? Not the Portuguese, not the Spanish, none of them, didn't do none of it. Not all the civilization. That was the thing he done. The friggin' indigenous Indians, what do you think they done? They raid the village and take the rest as slaves. You mind? So, but all that's it. You know what, Cat? Yeah, I like to think I do, but I don't. Because if I did, I wouldn't be here. Honestly, I wish there was like a 400-foot friggin' tree and I'd build a Wendy house and I'd just stay there and I'd just have a piece of rope and I'd just lower it down, put on my day's provisions, a bit of bread, a bit of cheese, a bit of water. That's all I fucking need. Just keep me away from all these nutters and chavs doing wheelies all over the place. One day, I swear to God, one day, I'm going to throw a fucking stick in the spokes. I'm telling you. Cheers, mate. I don't know whether I'm on fire or not. I'm mad as hell. I'm mad as hell. Wouldn't it be great if people from this stream opened their window and shouted, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? No, Dominic New. Oh, yeah, got Dominic New. Yeah. Doing the Noonans. They were a big renowned family in Manchester. And Dominic, yeah, he was a kiddie feeler. But he was a very intimidating character. They kind of tried to emulate like the craze of Manchester, you know, always nicely presented, always had young boys around with him. He's fucking wrong when you go into the story. Yeah, open your window, I dare it. Seriously, do it. In fact, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to do it. Do you want me to do it? And if I do it, I don't want to be the only one that's done it. Get the house on the hill. Right, Great Brit. Look at you winding me up. Get to the window, Great Brit. Right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to turn. That's my window there, yeah? You watching this shit? I've had it up. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore! The police are officially on the way, yeah? So give it 5 minutes and you'll see Julian freaking Farnell, the police and the social care system and everyone else jump through the fucking door with clipboards waving all over the place. Crazy shit, but that's how I feel. Done it. Well done, Lisa. I can hear footsteps. I think one of my family's coming down. I just hear something. So on that note, I'm going to get going. I know, Kat, you're right. Who knows? But listen, I hope you've enjoyed this stream. I hope you took something from it. And the positive is, yeah, Tony. Well, Tony, the last thing on that, Tony is about to be a grandmother. I do believe her daughter's in labour at this moment now. Exactly, me and Julian. Assange, yeah? Not Farnell. Or even stick him in there, you know what I mean? Freeze the crowd so you can see who'd be the odd one out of three of them. Me and Assange would be sat there just looking at him, you know what I mean? Flicking crows at him. Right, guys, I'm going. I hope you had a good time on this stream. I've enjoyed it, even though I've not really solved the world in any way, but I guess we feel a little bit better knowing that we all feel the same way, don't we? And we're all awake, and as long as we keep kind of looking at it and talk about it, then I guess it's something. Saturday coming up, I will be in Lancaster, which there will be an event, Invisible Boy, Invisible Girl. We'll be attending that. We'll be at an art gallery called Inspire Art Gallery. So no doubt there'll be many interesting people there, and try and film what I can, whether I stream it, whether I hard record it, I have no idea. So no doubt, unless something else happens that really does my head in and I end up shouting from the window again, I guess that will be the next upload in the next few days, week or something like that, guys. So thanks a lot for taking the time out to look at this stream. The world is a good place for people who can critically think and critically see that the world is full of beautiful people, no matter what your skin tone. We are all one. We all got that same central mentality. So love it, guys. Take care. Stay safe. I love you all, even the pissing haters. Cheers, Great Brit. You're the star, mate. Take care.